What's up, YouTube? Welcome back to MMOSWORLD. We are going to be doing something interesting today, which is jumping back into Tom Clancy's The Division. This is the first game that launched in 2016. We obviously have a new one, The Division 2, coming out in March. We've already had the private beta happening last weekend, and there's going to be an open beta on the 1st of March as well. So, having played the private beta, let's now jump in back into the first game, do the opening tutorial, and let's talk about what's going to be changing, what are the differences, and, if you should play the first Division while waiting. We've got like 2 more weeks before we can jump back into Division 2. So let's go ahead and create a new game, new character, and we'll see you in game.
Even though this Black Friday, you can sleep in.
All over the region. Retailers are calling this their 149,000 stores offering sales in the
cash sales changing hands.
Starting in New York, and we know because we hit the stores. The flu season is off to its earliest start.
Appears to be a previously unknown variant of the flu,
Suspected case
catching many experts off guard.
Today I was feeling like maybe
Back on the breaking news, leading with unconfirmed reports of a smallpox
outbreak is a highly rehearsed scenario.
And National Guard units converging on a hospital in central Manhattan.
Closed. It's a war zone. Smallpox is a very real
more
danger.
deaths than AIDS, more than Ebola.
not enough vaccines.
Let me stop you there. This is not a panic situation.
An entire American city.
Known as the Green Poison, Central Park has been converted to a mass burial ground.
Power outages, gas line leaks, fires. The government
We're expecting another night of widespread looting.
People of New York are begging for
Any available units. Fire at house in the
Our first responders are either dead
no resources available.
being treated like animals.
It's not a job. We're not trained for that.
When we were activated, we knew the situation was bad. Worse than anyone knew. We are an elite, highly skilled group of embedded agents. They only call us when everything else has failed. We have no rules. We have no limits. Our job is to protect what remains.
We are your co-workers. We are your neighbors. We might even be your friends.
But when we get the call,
We leave everything behind.
we are
The Division.
Alright, and that is your story intro to The Division. And real quickly, it does set the scene up in terms of what's happening in the first game, and the setting takes place here in New York City. The tutorial itself, I believe, is in Brooklyn before you move on to the island of Manhattan. So this is the character creator, which is pretty cool. You're looking at the reflection, your own reflection in a car. And, based on what we saw in the private beta, which isn't much because you could only use randomized characters, you couldn't actually make a detailed character until the full launch of the game. So we'll go with female. You can see your skin tones here and iris color for eyes, but that's really it. You can't play around with sliders or anything. And, but you can move on to hairstyles and see the different hair you have. I mean, for females, you don't have like long hair or whatever, which is pretty odd for default. You just have short hair for this one. And then you can pick hair color as well. Markings, if you want, you can add tattoos. You've got accessories as well, like sunglasses or whatnot. And I'm sure everybody will go for shades or something. So let's do that. Let's go with that. All right, so one of the things that's going to be returning is Isaac, obviously, which is that in-ear comms that you hear. They'll teach you through tutorials and everything. Movement is going to be pretty much the same. WASD, of course, shift to sprint. And cover, the cover system is back in Division 2, and it's more important than ever. This entire game is based around taking cover when you take shots and everything. right mouse button to shoot, sorry, left mouse button to shoot, right mouse button to aim, and your space bar is going to be how you take cover. So all you got to do is tap that.
Weapon test initialized. Open fire at the highlighted targets.
So this is going to be your tutorial for shooting. Also, good tip, when you right click to zoom, you can hit tab, and if you have a scope on, that's going to zoom in further.
Primary weapon test successful.
So that's primary weapon. Let's switch to the sidearm. You can click the number 3 button on your mouse or whatever.
Fire at the highlighted targets.
And let's hit that one.
Sidearm test successful.
Now we're done. Alright, now we're going to Plymouth Rock.
This is Louis Chang, Northeast Section Commander of the Division. You have been activated because Brooklyn has become dangerously unstable. Isaac has updated us with your progress. Proceed to the nearest safe house for your full equipment loadout.
Alright, so real quick, when it comes to graphics and, you know, looking at the UI and everything, there's not much that's changed in the Division 2 private beta. It looks almost exactly the same, with a few major differences, of course. One of them being the Division's map. So in the first game, which is what you're looking at, the map has a lot of interactive stuff, right? You can click on missions and it'll put the GPS on the screen, and then you can see the golden streak of line and where to run to. Division 2 has that as well, so not much has changed there, except maybe you've got more functionality on the map, giving you more information, which is really handy. You can also see intel, matchmaking, mission overview. So once you get to Manhattan, you'll see all of that unlocked as well. In the tutorial area, not much really. And secondly is, I think some of the graphic details, it's going to be major aesthetic changes. We are obviously in New York, and I think a lot of Division 1 players will agree with me when we're saying, you know, we love this sort of setting. Aesthetically, it's decent enough for us to get engaged and explore and just enjoy being in the city, because we're used to it. In Division 2, the game takes place in Washington, D.C., and from the private beta and just hanging around D.C., you know, running around Capitol Hill and stuff, it looks as if the environments just didn't have enough, I don't know, diversity or whatever. Not as magical as the first time we were running through the streets of Manhattan or Brooklyn. So you guys may have to wait until March the 1st to jump into Division 2 to check it out. Other than that, you know, most of the systems in this game is returning. So, for example, cover to cover, if you don't want to manually run there, you can just aim at where the next cover is and hold the space bar, and it'll automatically put you in the next cover.
I confirm that your fellow agent Faye Lau has arrived here. Check in with her when you get inside.
So we're going to go check out the cutscene now, and there are some quality differences as well. Jumping over stuff hasn't changed, it's still control. So that's that. And up we go. F is to interact. And yeah, there's a bunch of players here. There is a lot of players here. That's your restock tab thing, where you get more ammo and grenades and everything. And you got the gear vendor here as well, which you can hit F to interact with. You have money at the bottom, you can see, and you can use that to spend and buy various different things. But let's go talk to Agent Faye.
We're losing this whole neighborhood. Rioters are moving through, in force, headed this way.
Put your people there. I see someone else got the call. I'm Agent Faye Lau, Division. Activated the same time as you, part of the second wave of us going in. I don't know what happened to the first wave, but unfortunately, there's still lots left for us to do. We don't have much intel, and we don't have the luxury of failure. Not with Manhattan under lockdown and Brooklyn on the brink. People like me, and you, we're what's left to hold the line. With any luck, we'll have more to go on once we rendezvous with the commander. More about the situation, about who's turning the streets into a war zone. Anything that's gonna help us do what we're supposed to do. And if you'll excuse me, Lieutenant.
Officer Hazen and his team are handling situation reports. If you're looking for a hotspot, that's who you want to talk to.
Complete your activation at the terminal to enable directive 51 operational status and equipment. Identity confirmed. SHD equipment activated.
All right. So that is that. That was your first taste of cinematic and story in Division 2. And, you know, there are some differences when you join Division 2.
Food supply from the Brooklyn Heights Distribution Center. They try and sell it back to all the starving people. Plain and simple profiteering on the backs of people who are suffering. Get that food back.
Alright, so now that we have that out of the way, I'm just gonna put, like, a cinematic snapshot at the top right of the screen for Division 2's private beta's cinematic cutscenes, just to give you guys some comparison there. But that's basically what you can expect, really. I think the graphics hasn't really changed that much. Maybe for cinematics it got a bit of an upgrade, but it's a little disappointing in Division 2 that, you know, it's not like a major update. I do believe the game is still running on the same engine, which is part of the problem, you know, in terms of major improvements. Those of you who played Division 1, you may know you have specializations, you know, the higher you go. In Division 2, they've revamped that system to give you specialized weapons. So, for example, once you get to the end game in Division 2, you get to pick 3 different weapons. You can either be a sniper, sharpshooter, a demolitionist using a grenade launcher, and the third one is like a crossbow utilizing debuffs and debilitates and poisons and all that stuff. Anyway, let's get to abilities. Let's go ahead and slot an ability here. One of my favorite things to use, obviously, is the sticky bomb in the first division, and in Division 2 what we got in the beta was basically the turret and what's the other one? The drone, which, you know, can heal and do all kinds of cool stuff. Anyway, this is going to be one of the first combat side quests here, which is pretty self-explanatory. If you've never played Division 2 before, this is going to be what combat looks like. I believe there's going to be 2 baddies there. Yep, there's one there. You can pretty much take cover somewhere here. So in a combat situation, when you see some enemies, you could do a bunch of things. He's already spotted me. So aiming for the headshots will give you more XP per kill, and you do get XP per kill, but not as much as completing missions itself. Loot drops sometimes from enemies as well. You'll see like a highlighted thing on the ground. White means normal stuff. Then you've got the common green, you got blue for rare. And that is done. Now on to the next quest. Retrieve food supplies. Movement in Division 2 is really, you know, kind of basic. You sprint, you move, you run. Compared to other kind of looter shooters like Anthem and Destiny and Destiny 2, you know, this is not. Alright, so here we have a chance to use our sticky grenade, so I'm going to do that real quick. Shoot it and detonate it. I got one guy from doing that. And that's done. One thing I like about Division, both games, is obviously the gear and the loot itemization, because there's just so much you can do and how to improve your gear and everything. Okay, so here come more baddies. We got 2 guys behind that truck. Reload's gonna take a while. Yeah, as long as you expose yourself, you're gonna get, you know, hit. So one thing you can do is you can shoot without moving into cover by just clicking the fire button behind cover itself. So you're like taking snapshots. You can do it for pistol too, so you don't waste ammo, because pistol is unlimited ammo. But of course your accuracy goes to shits. So let's go back to your primary weapon here and just shoot this guy. For enemy types, you know, you're gonna get different ones. You'll have normal assault soldiers. You'll also have the rushers that's just gonna come at you with machetes and shotguns. Those, you know, you have to coordinate either playing solo or with your group. The priority, who takes what, who takes out what fast, and then you have named enemies, you know, enemies with the purple health bars and yellow health bars, which simply means these are tougher sons of bitches that you really want to kill first. So that's another side mission done, and you do earn XP, as you can see in the top right of the screen. And credits. Credits are in-game currency for Division. Now, a lot of these systems, as I said at the top of the video, isn't really changing they're either coming back or it's going to be the same thing for Division 2 with some minor tweaks, especially to weapon specializations. So yeah, I can't wait to see what the open beta does for Division 2. But also important to note, you can earn some rewards for Division 2 by playing the first Division, and it's in the form of shields. So shields are kind of like endgame achievements, do a bunch of stuff, and once you hit all the objectives, you'll get your rewards. So let's find and rescue civilian hostages, and that's what I mean by seeing the golden streak on the ground. You're auto-pathing, except it's not auto, it's just your GPS toggle is showing you where to go. Now it's interesting, I haven't found any loot drops yet, but don't worry if you don't, because you can buy new weapons from vendors all around. Safe houses, which are basically places you can unlock in the map, and quick travel too. Quick travel is an important part of the game, obviously. When you matchmake, which is, by the way, grouping up with a group up to 4 people, when you matchmake, you can instantly travel to another player and everything. And these are all core mechanics from the first game. I'm not talking about the second game, because the second game just utilizes a lot of things that the first game does, and does pretty well. And we all remember Division 2 had a really rocky launch because, it's buggy, and the gameplay just wasn't fun when you realized that the higher the missions got, some of these enemies were just health sponges. Alright, so we got hostiles here. I see them. They've seen me, so here we go. Okay, this guy's gonna try and flank me. I've got 2 on both sides. Oh. One more to go. Let's toss a grenade now. Grenades are G if you're using a mouse and keyboard. The AI is also pretty smart, so I may be able to get 2 here with the grenade. Nope, just 1. But yeah, the AI is pretty clever when it comes to grenades, especially boss mobs. And if you specialize in, because you can pick different abilities, right? So I've got medical, attack, and security. Security will give you like a ballistic shield, and for example, I'm just gonna use that so I can show you guys what that is. So hitting the E brings up the ballistic shield, and this thing's for players who want to be as tanks or whatever to take frontal damage. The caveat here is you can only use your sidearm while you're holding the shield, and you're also slower. So this is when the AI recognizes you as being a lot less mobile and will toss grenades at you, which is hard to get out of the way. And double clicking the spacebar lets you jump, and then you bring up the shield again. So you got to be smart about that, and I do like that sense of diversifying your builds and gameplay and whatever. So into this door we go.
Nice work shutting that down, Agent.
Ah, loot cache. So I've just picked up a shotgun as well, as you can see, for the side mission. And opening this has given me gear. Nice. And out we go. So to equip new weapons, all you gotta do is hit to your UI here, look for a gun. So shotgun obviously is going to do less damage, and all your weapons have different stats. Shotgun has a stagger, and assault rifles, critical damage, sharpshooter rifles, headshot damage, and everything. And for inventory, it's just simple. You just click on something that's better, double click it to equip, and keep an eye out for gear bonuses, moddable gear. Your weapons can be modded to with mod slots by putting stuff in all these different components. All these things again will return for the Division 2, and you can check it out, the open beta, March the 1st. And the one thing I do like from Division 2 so far is that they've revamped the gear and UI loadout to make it more cleaner and accessible, but the menus still feel a lot clunky and hard to navigate, especially for first timers. Like for those of us that have now jumped into the Division or been playing it for a couple of years, we're gonna transition into the new game a lot more easier. So that's one feedback I have for Ubisoft. So that's basically that, guys. Just a quick tour of Division 1 for those that have never played Division 1. It was on sale on Uplay for about $4, which is pretty cheap. And if you wanted your Division fix, if you were so enthralled by the Division 2's private beta and you can't wait to play it, playing the first Division is a good alternate way of having fun in this game world before Division 2 comes out, which is kind of why I'm back in the Division playing it while waiting for Anthem and Division 2 to release. So that's it from us. Hit the like button for more MMO videos and subscribe to MMO's World. As ever, I'm Aiden from MMO's World, signing out.